The science of reading. So this presentation will include information on the science of reading, the theoretical models, which include simple view of reading, Scarborough's reading rope, four-part mental processor, and Airy's phases of word-level reading. Information on phonological awareness, phonics, fluency, vocabulary code, emphasis versus meaning emphasis, and orthographic mapping. So what is the science of reading? The science of reading is more than just phonics and phonological awareness. This concept includes all techniques, methods, instructional strategies that have been found in research over time that go with teaching reading. The simple view of reading, which is one of the theoretical models, was proposed by Gall and Tunmer in 1986. This concept shows how reading comprehension develops through supported research. The components include word recognition skills, which is being able to read the words in text, and language comprehension ability, which is understanding the meaning of what is being read, and which all of that characterizes reading comprehension skills. It's important to have each of these aspects of decoding, recognition, understanding, in order to be able to be a fluent reader and have comprehension of what you are actually reading. Scarborough's reading rope has two main strands, which is one of the strands is the word recognition strand, which entails phonological awareness, decoding, sight recognition of familiar words, and the language comprehension strand entails background knowledge, vocabulary, language structures, verbal reasoning, and literacy knowledge. And each of these strands are super important to create a fluent and comprehensive reader, and each one is crucial to obtain before being able to be proficient in reading. And this rope was created by Hollis Scarborough. The four-part mental processor is another theoretical model. It was proposed by Sedenberg and McClelland. There are four main areas of the brain that support reading. These include speech sound awareness, which goes with phonological processor, sound symbol association, which is with the angular gyrus, language comprehension, which is with context and meaning processors, and letter and letter pattern recognition, storage of printed word images, which is with the orthographic processor. And there are four processing systems for word recognition, which includes context processor, meaning processor, phonological processor, which that includes the language input and output, and orthographic processor includes reading input and writing output. The phonological processor is responsible for producing speech sounds, and the orthographic processor is responsible for recognizing features of print. The meaning processor is responsible for recalling the meaning of words in and out of context, and the context processor is responsible for helping with the meaning processor and figuring out the meaning of words within its context. And this information came from What the Brain Does When It Reads. Airy's phases of word-level reading is the last theoretical model that we'll cover, and it was created by Linnea Airy. These phases include the pre-alphabetic, partial alphabetic, full alphabetic, and consolidated alphabetic. So according to Beach, the pre-alphabetic phase is when someone reads a word without letter and letter sound connections, but can look at a word and associate a meaning of what is with the object. So like if a child sees a Crest or Colgate toothpaste package, then they know they can associate that meaning with, oh, that's toothpaste or that's toothbrush, because they recognize the letters, but they aren't able to tell you what the letters are or what the letter sounds mean or say, but they can look at it and associate a meaning with the object. The partial alphabetic phase is using some letter recognition in words to pronounce them, especially with the beginning and ending letters, and the visual appearance of the word. Full alphabetic phase is when the reader can recognize sight words, recognize letter sounds, and blend them together to make full words. Consolidated alphabetic phase is where the reader can now consolidate the letters together to make new sounds to decrease the memory load and become more fluent in reading. And all of these phases go hand in hand to be able to name objects, read and decode words, and become fluent readers. Phonological awareness, according to the Department of Education Science of Reading graphic organizer, is the ability to recognize sound structure of words. Phonemic awareness is a part of phonological awareness, which is the ability to identify, isolate, and manipulate sounds within the word. The skills within the phonological awareness include phoneme blending and segmentation, which are basic phonological awareness skills. The advanced phonological awareness skills include manipulating the phonemes, such as deleting, substituting, and reversing the phonemes within the words. It's important and crucial to have early instruction in phonics and phonological awareness to be able to stop, reverse, and remediate reading issues and difficulties. Phonological awareness is also needed to learn sight words as well as be able to read on a skilled level. Phonics is the relationship between letters and sounds. It includes graphemes, syllables, and morphemes. Sight vocabulary is the words that you already know. You can instantly recognize them, and orthographic mapping is being able to instantly add words to your sight vocabulary by using what you already know, previously known skills and letter patterns that you can recognize. Also, according to the Arkansas Department of Education Science of Reading graphic organizer, guessing words from context is not as efficient as phonetic decoding. Skilled readers can identify unfamiliar words with a high degree of accuracy by sounding them out, even irregular words. By contrast, researchers have found that even proficient readers are not as skilled as correctly guessing words from context with an accuracy rate of about 25%. According to the ADE, when we see a word, the areas of the brain responsible for orthography, which is familiar spelling, and phonology, which is with pronunciation, activate before the areas responsible for the semantic system, which is with meaning. Fluency is being able to quickly and correctly read text. You can look at something and be able to read it smoothly. Having a greater sight word vocabulary increases your fluency. And if a student is fluent in reading, they're more likely to focus their attention on comprehending what they're reading. They can easily read something quickly and know instantly what it means. They're not having to sit there and try to sound out each letter and sound and decode the word. So the more the fluent reader the student is, the higher the level they can read on. Vocabulary is knowing words and what they mean. It's being able to connect pattern meaning to patterns in spelling, and that also increases their vocabulary and their fluency. And morphology, according to the ADE, is the study of segmenting words into prefixes, suffixes, roots, or bases of the origins of the word. Vocabulary and reading comprehension go hand in hand, and understanding morphology indicates great reading comprehension. Code emphasis versus meaning emphasis. This is where the students learn a specific code or set of letters and words. The teacher has a set code of what they go by. They have a specific lesson laid out, and it's more geared towards phonemic awareness, where meaning emphasis is just learning words rather than breaking it down into the phonemic awareness. It's what they commonly see in text with just different words that they are commonly seeing, rather than choosing a pattern to go by so that they can learn and break it down. So there's no specific layout of choosing words that go together, or specific code to go by, which means that the code emphasis is obviously more effective than the meaning emphasis, because it teaches the students the skills needed to decode words and obtain the phonemic awareness skills rather than just memorization of words. And this, gives them the skills needed to increase their reading level. Orthographic mapping is the process of storing words that you can effortlessly remember and retrieve. It's the process for instant retrieval. According to Kilpatrick, when students have this orthographic knowledge, they're able to notice letter patterns and recognize them with various words, which they can instantly go back and know this is what makes this sound. This is how we, break it down. They can say the words. They'll be able to identify prefixes, suffixes, root words, syllables, and the rules of spelling. Words are often stored so they can retrieve them immediately, and when they see them again later, rather than trying to decode them, they'll know the pattern instantly, and they see the word, they can say it immediately, and allows students to recognize words instantly by sight to become fluent readers. So what we've learned during this presentation is that there's a lot that goes into the science of reading. It's more than just phonics. It entails numerous strategies, theories, methods, instructional approaches, and it's all based on findings and research. The ones that we covered are, the theoretical models that we covered is a simple view of reading, Scarborough's reading rope, the four-part mental processor, Aries, phases of word-level reading. We also covered informational phonological awareness, phonics, fluency, vocabulary, code emphasis versus meaning emphasis, and orthographic mapping. So now we have a greater understanding of the science of reading.